what his role in life is. And that's the opportunity that, again, not to make this about Ana specifically, but anyone that's going through a wake up. We know so many people have woken up. I mean, look, for me, I think it was 2016. I did that Why I Left the Left video for PragerU. You want everyone to get there the day you do, but you have to be gracious when people come around one way or another.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in my other panel members, because some of them are definitely going on a very interesting journey, including new MAGA enthusiast, Cenk Uygur. I said that.
Like, look at, like, tell me that face is not Saudi. He's there, like, why are you big mad like that? Like, what? Okay, let's rewind back though. I'm calling him a MAGA enthusiast.
Including new MAGA enthusiast, Cenk Uygur. I said that deliberately to wind him up. The host and founder of the Young Turks. Libertarian Dave Smith, host of Part of the Problem. Lindy Lee, the DNC Finance Committee member and advisor. And former woke activist turned YouTuber, Amala Ekpunobi. Well, welcome to all of you. So, Cenk, I mean, many people saying if you carry on down the road you're going in the last few weeks, you will be a fully fledged member of MAGA before we know it.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance of that. I'm not like Dave Rubin, a giant sellout fraud who changed all of his positions and is totally useless, and it shouldn't even be on here. He's just a waste of space.
Wow. Really? After what all Dave said about coming together?
Yeah. Yeah, no, got no interest in coming together with utter frauds like Dave Rubin. So, brother, you telling me that when you were on the Young Turks, you were Mr. Progressive and you agreed with us 100%. Now, all of a sudden, you agree with Trump 100%. You're not saying something nuanced like we are. Hey, you know, when the guy gets shot at and he puts his fist up, that's courageous. When he does the McDonald's photo op and it works fine, no problem, right? If he wants to cut the Pentagon, great. Those are progressive positions. Anti-corruption, progressive position. Anti-war, progressive position. But you change all of your ideology overnight and you expect us to believe that that's real? I don't think it's real at all. And I want an apology from you for all the crazy, outrageous lies that you told about the Young Turks. When is that going to happen, huh? Wow. And when are you going to admit that you changed all your positions for money? Okay. Well, what position do you still have that's in any way a so-called classic liberal, you fraud?
Okay, before David handles him, right? I see some of y'all comments. First of all, y'all are cracking me up. So it's like that's exactly what you are, Cenk. This is the reason Walter says this is one of the reasons why the left lost the election. That's a fact. That is a fact, for sure. Now, here's the thing, right? Like, don't ever let Cenk even get you worked up. This guy, I have, we're gonna watch Dave demolish him, and I'm gonna show you Jimmy Dore calling both of them out. Really
responding to this ridiculous buffoon who's the joke of the industry. I will say this, Cenk, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years. I haven't spoken to you in 10 years.
Okay, I need y'all to. I'm sorry, I hate stopping the videos. I do, but like, let's just real quick. Let me tell you something. Pierce is happy. He's like, Pierce is happy. He's there. He's sitting there like, all right, man, this content is good. This is piping hot content. And I'm over here like, good. This content is good, right? This girl's like, I'm just fixing my hair. And he's over here just acting a fool. This is working beautifully for Pierce. Just watch my cursor because I'm going to make you, like, I'm going to point out the people at the appropriate times. All right, let's get back into it.
I don't think he's a fraud or a joke. I think Dave Rubin is, for what it's worth, I think Dave Rubin is one of the most influential and significant voices out there right now. And I admire his honesty about the journey he's been on, Cenk.
Piers, I appreciate that, but the thing is, what Cenk just proved is exactly what everyone in America, and I would say all over the world, is getting over. Nobody wants what he just offered up there. Not only does no one believe it, and he had it prepackaged and ready to go, and it's complete drivel. Yes, I sold out. It's just it's so nonsensical. Again, Cenk, I'll gladly send you a signed copy of the book, and you can read all of my thoughts. And if you're anti-corruption and you're anti-war, you should be on the Trump train.
Brother, you went on Fox News with Tucker Carlson. You went on Tucker Carlson on Fox News and said gay people, that the fact that the fire department was recruiting gay people was why there was forest fires. You're a national embarrassment, okay?
Right. If anyone
You pleasure
honestly
those guys
believes
for a
that,
living.
you can
It's
pull up the clip
disgusting.
tomorrow if you want.
Okay?
I was talking
can
about
pull up the
diversity,
clip. You
equity,
can
and
pull up the
inclusion,
clip.
that you shouldn't hire
Can I
people
answer Pierce's
based on their
question?
genitals or their sexual orientation. And we now all know that. You have been
Actually, you know, like there are times where people say the right thing. And shout out to Dave Rubin. I mean, this is really not even like are we still on that whole thing about like meritocracy? Yes, that meritocracy. This is not a hot take. This is common sense, but fine. I'll give him the credit where credit is due.
The 29th, Cenk Uygur was overwhelmed with optimism. I've been trying to figure out why I'm more optimistic now than I was before the election, even though I was so against the guy who won. I know now. MAGA is not my mortal enemy, and neither is the extreme left. My mortal enemy is the establishment, and they have been defeated. It's not just...
Is it the same establishment you took $20 million from? You mean that establishment? One of the top donors in the Democrat Party? You mean one of the guys, one of the most rich, most powerful owners of establishment corporate media, Jeffrey Katzenberg? You mean that's your enemy? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, maybe he's out of money. Maybe he's his enemy now. Maybe
that's it.
out. Yeah, that's it. No more use to him. It's not just that the establishment candidate lost, it's that their media is mortally wounded. The source of their strength was not insipid politicians like Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden. The source of their strength was their propaganda machine, the mainstream media. Now, online media is strong enough that their oppressive monopoly on the American mind has been broken. Now we're in the jungle. They hate that. I love it.
This is hilarious.
Oh, you haven't read this thread yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was the thing that kicked it all off. This uncontrolled marketplace of ideas is where I'm home. I'd rather be in the populist woods than an establishment prison. So Megan Murphy, I don't know who this is, says, I've never seen anyone jump ship faster. Shortly after Kamala lost. Gunther Eagleman, this is a MAGA account here. They haven't been defeated, and for you to assume that shows your naive nature. They still have a stronghold in the Senate, which you still ignore. You have trashed Trump and MAGA for years. Stay in your lane and accept that you and yours suffered an embarrassing defeat, Cenk. So, yeah, that's the MAGA crowd that's not buying it. And then this is one of the big lib accounts, Joe. Obeying in advance. People warned me you'd do this, and here you are. So, really getting it from all sides.
So Jimmy's about to go into his rant. Guys, keep hitting that like button. Thank you so much. Anybody who just showed up, go ahead and hit that like button so we can get...
A couple weeks later, he says, some folks on the left seem to genuinely think that just talking to the MAGA right wing is evil.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah. You're the guy who did that. You pushed that for years and years, since 2016. They called me a right winger because I didn't look at the MAGA supporters as my enemy. I looked at my enemy as the establishment, and that they want us to be divided, just like Cenk Uygur did and Ana Kasparian at the Young Turks. And when I brought on a Boogaloo boy, who, by the way, we agreed with on at least 6 out of his 10 top issues. And my whole thing was, I sell a T-shirt. Frederick Douglass said, I'll join with anyone to do good and no one to do bad. And that's been my message since at least 2016. They're not your enemy. They're your neighbor. And that's exactly divide and conquer. And they've been pushing that. They slandered me and smeared me for years because I wouldn't because I wouldn't hate my neighbor, and I wouldn't pretend that my mother-in-law, who's a wonderful person, was a teacher her whole life. Her students loved her. She's 100% Mexican, and she supported Donald Trump. And I'm like, well, that's when I knew. I'm like, well, what does it do? Hate my mother-in-law? I love my mother-in-law. She's a great woman. She loves me. She's a good Christian. And that's why she voted for Trump, because of abortion. That doesn't make her a bad person. And she hated the Clintons, which is what we bonded over, actually. So I was, again, 8 years ago, I was saying exactly what Cenk is saying, and it would be okay if Cenk came out. What you have to do is make a serious act of contrition. You have to come out and say, hey, you know what? I was the worst person. I did that. I demonized the right wing. I called them white supremacists. I called them all racist. I called them all sexist. There's a video where he even called them all pedophiles. He said that's why they're always talking about pedophilia, because they're all pedophiles. He said that.
Right.
He did say something like that. Like he did. And this was not that long ago. You know what? I'm going to actually get into that. Hold on. Let me just read this other super chat. Thank you so much. You guys are so amazing. Thank you. Walter. Shout out to Walter from the rip. Walter's been, you know what I mean? Walter's been writing and giving me some tips and everything. Shout out to Walter. Thank you so much. He said, when I saw a minority in a big position 20 years ago, I would think, damn, that's a badass mofo. Now I'm like, DEI hire as Trump. It's sad. Merry Christmas, Walter. Thank you so much. And that's the thing. And I don't want to be a part of that, right? Like, let's just real quick, and I'm gonna let Jimmy finish exactly what he was just saying. But I don't want to be a part of that where people now will look at me and think like, oh, DEI hire. And I understand if somebody thinks that because they promote it so much. When I figured out why, they don't tell you why. When I figured out why when I was younger, okay, just like a few years ago, you know, why they ask your race and all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is for quotas? Nope. I stopped putting it. I was like, I am not. When I applied for a job, like when I was applying for jobs at that time, I was like, you know, or, you know, recently or however long ago, whatever, I stopped doing it. I was like, I'm not answering that question.
So they're the opposite of liberals. They're not liberals. They're illiberals. And so if he was genuine about this, he would start off with an admission that he was the worst purveyor of the thing he now claims to be against, demonizing Trump voters as their enemy. He was the worst who did that, constantly calling them fat. Up until 5 minutes before the election, he was calling them all fascists, including Trump. And then, so it's amazing how he's Trump's a fascist. We got to defeat MAGA. Those guys are. And then all of a sudden, Trump wins. He's like, we win. How does that? You know, it'd be like if I was like, oh, I was with you.
He doesn't care about Muslim lives one bit.
Donald Trump is deeply racist and he says deeply racist things, okay? I want to make a distinction between Donald Trump, the person who says and does racist.
Let me just do this real quick, though. Donald Trump is not deeply racist. He says ridiculous things when it comes to this war, to the slaughter in Gaza, but he's not deeply racist. I'm so sick and tired of people saying, I've debunked that back in 2020, okay? It's not deeply racist. I think that our country is compromised. He's not deeply racist.
Things and the notion of a fascist. Because look, if we're just going to use fascist toward anyone we dislike, all right, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Okay, what do you want me to say, Anna? You want me to say wannabe dictator?
Sure, you can say wannabe dictator, but I don't even think he wants to be a dictator.
Of course he does. That's what you do when you lose an election and you go, oh, I got fake electors and I'd like to terminate the Constitution and bring out the tanks and use martial law against American citizens and shoot protesters. I mean, if that's not fascist, then I guess the word just shouldn't exist.
Okay,
but was he able to do those things?
First of all, his entire cabinet had to threaten, not cabinet, administration, his White House team had to say, we're all going to mass resign if you roll out tanks against American citizens.
Okay, so if you think he's a fascist, wouldn't that justify taking physical action against him?
No, because that doesn't help. That devolves us further into fascism.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a difference between somebody shooting someone, that's fascism, and saying, I disagree with them. Don't elect a fascist prick. By the way, there's one thing I disagree here.
Here he goes.
I think Kamala Harris will probably win in a cakewalk for governor.
No.
Okay.
No. What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, I'm telling you the reality, whether you like it or not.
What are you doing?
Democratic voters in California love to obey. And so,
oh my God, I'm gonna move, Cenk. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna move.
She's had enough. Period. The know what are you doing is the damn man. This guy, man, he keeps getting on my nerves. Like, I'm so sick of every day. I have to get up. I have to do my makeup. I have to go all the way to TYT. Like, why don't I just have hair and makeup at TYT? Like, you know, the Daily Wire, Brett Cooper, she gets a whole pretty set. I have to go there and I have to deal with all this stuff. And now he's talking about Kamala. That's what this is. Okay. Yeah. So even when Cenk and Dave had that argument, before that, he said, if Anna wants to debate, that's fine. Like, they're willing to take Ana in with open arms. Cenk, they don't want. And I really think she knows this. And I think that she feels like he's a ball and chain. Sorry. I don't care. I do. I think she's like, God, man, I could be big places. You know, Daily Wire got that money. Daily Wire's buying Tim Pool, and everybody's acting coy about the situation. We already know what's up. Okay. And she, she probably like, because then, and you talk to yourself, the whole thing about war, like I could bring a different view and I could help the Daily Wire, bring back the progressive and I know how it goes. And Cenk probably was like, yo, I can give you the Daily Wire here. Please, I will do what you want. And don't leave me. That's so sad.